I can't see anybody. This is great. I feel like you have to say that once you're on stage. Just so everybody knows, this is my first time doing stand-up, so if I bomb, I do have a backup plan. I have a real job, too. And if you're one of my friends, and I have a couple of them here, you've probably heard me say you got to tell 100 jokes before one of them lands. I only have 4 jokes written down, so we'll see how this goes. I feel a little bit like Mitch Hedberg right now, okay, but slightly worse jokes and a lot less cocaine. So what I'm trying to say is I'm nervous. I'm probably going to look at the ground a lot. You know what else makes me nervous, though? Not only being on stage in front of people I don't know, telling jokes I haven't rehearsed, but also cops. Anybody, like I got pulled over recently, and I always seem to be the most nervous when I have nothing to be nervous about. Who knows why I'm getting pulled over? Like if I was speeding, I would know. And I would say, well, it sucks that I got caught, but at least I know. This time, I didn't have that luxury. Sometimes, though, they give you a hint, right? So sometimes they'll come up to your window, like, you got somewhere to be? You in a hurry? You're like, okay, I was probably speeding. That's probably why it got me. Sometimes they'll come up and say, you been drinking tonight? It's like, drinking. At that point, they probably suspect you of DUI. But like, nah, I haven't been drinking. It's like, well, I saw you swerve into the other lane a couple times. Like, oh, yeah, no, I'm just sad. That's all. So anyway, I got pulled over. And this cop, he gave me no hints. He did the guessing game. He came up to my window. He says, you know why I pulled you over? I said, I don't have any idea. It couldn't be that it's midnight and I have a pickup truck bed full of things that look like I've stolen them. I was cleaning out a storage unit. Normal things, you know. I have like old bike tires and stuff, you know, stuff that people keep hold of. And this is actually important to the story because it was at like midnight. I don't have my shoes on. I go a lot of places without shoes on. But cops don't know that when they pull you over. So I'm barefoot. I'm in like basketball shorts. My hair's probably a mess. I probably have a beanie pulled down low. So he comes up to my window and says, like, hey, do you know why I pulled you over? And I said, no, I don't know why you pulled me over. He said, you didn't have your turn signal on. Oh, that's my bad. But I'm good to go though, right? You know, you're not going to give me a ticket for this. I need to see your license and registration. Whatever, we dealt with that. Part of the problem is that I can't hear that good though. So I've got like, I worked oil for a long time, so I've got hearing loss. And the oil part's not imperative to the story, but the hearing loss is. So guy comes up to the window, and I'm not like, I can't hear him that good. Speaking of hearing loss, anybody ever been like, things are getting like low heated with your girlfriend, you have to ask her to repeat what she just whispered in your ear? It's a mood killer. It does not, yeah, not good. I don't suggest it. But anyway, the cop comes up to the window. He says, you know, hey, give me your license and registration. He's like, I actually don't have my license on me, officer. Can we do this another way? He's like, well, you got your registration, yeah? Yeah, I've got my registration. He looks at me, looks at my truck, sees I don't have shoes on. This your truck? Yeah, this is my truck. He's like, well, let me see your insurance. I said, I wish I could. I wish I could show you my insurance, but I can't get into my Geico app to get it. He said, is this your phone? He's like, yeah, this is my phone. Things are not looking good for me. So anyway, we dealt with the like no license, or with the registration. I couldn't get my license. I couldn't get my insurance. Whatever, we dealt with that. But he comes back to my truck. Comes back up after like they're always gone for like 45 minutes. He comes back up. He's like, there's been a lot of deaths around here. I said, deaths? It's casual. Really casual. Maybe he wants my help catching him. You know, maybe I'm a suspect. I don't know. There's been a lot of deaths around here. I said, deaths? He said, yep. Been a lot of deaths. Deaths? Uh-huh. Been a lot of deaths. And I said, I don't think we're on the same page, man. Are you saying deaths? And he said, yeah, deaths. You know, like when you take something that doesn't belong to you. And I said, oh, yeah, okay. Thefts. I understand now. This looks really bad for me then, huh? And he says, yeah, this doesn't look good for you. I said, so what do we do? He says, I think you should probably just go home because you don't belong here. And I said, I think you're probably right. So that's exactly what I did. Do you know where else I don't belong? I've got friends. I have a couple friends, and I have a couple different friend groups. I don't belong in these friend groups. Okay, these friends are from South Jordan, and they grew up a suburban life, and I did not. I did not grow up in a suburban life. I have my phone out now because I wrote down half of my jokes on the way to the set tonight, and so I only wrote half of them on this note card, and the other half are in my phone, so bear with me. But yeah, so I don't really fit in with these friends that I've got. They're like fancy. They grew up going to, they had cool vacations and stuff. I didn't. But I've infiltrated, right? So I lived in Provo. Everybody's kind of the same. They all suspect that you're a finance student and you're in your third year getting ready to graduate. Well, I'm 25 years old, never been to college. I'm not anymore. I'm 30 years old. Still, no, I have been to college, but not that much of it. So I've like infiltrated my friend group, and I've got to assume that this is what it feels like to be an undercover cop, to just like be accepted as one of them. Like, okay, yeah, I'm an undercover cop. The kingpin, he trusts me. I'm at his house eating dinner with him. He likes me now. If I betray his trust, I'm probably gonna die. Or it could be like a twin, pulling a prank on the teacher. If you make that, I've never done it. I'm not a twin, but I hear that it's a real thrill. If I've infiltrated my friend group, and the reason I know that they've accepted me as their own is because they ask me questions that suburban South Jordanites would ask, like, hey man, what ski resort did you spend Christmas at growing up? Or what is your favorite entrance to Lake Powell? And I didn't know there was more than one. I don't know where Lake Powell's at. I learned 2 nights ago, though, I learned that the best entrance is Waweep. So any Bullfrog fans out there, I don't know, get good. So, yeah, but like some of these questions are like easy enough to brush off. So the ones about like, hey, where'd you spend Christmas? Like, oh man, my mom, she made us go to her stupid sister's house. She's got like 100 dogs. I didn't never get to spend Christmas at a ski resort. It's like easy enough to fudge your way through that one. I'm not really a dog person, so when I would go to Aunt Brenda's house and it smelled like dogs, I didn't like that. People who love dogs and like really love dogs is kind of a red flag for me. I generally try to stay away from them. Thank you. Yeah, I got some hot takes if y'all want to hear them after the show, but one of them is probably the worst mistake humanity ever made was domesticating dogs. Yeah, I like that one. Let's see there. Where are we at? Okay, yeah, so I don't really like dogs. You know what I see, like, when people cry at those, like, rescue dog commercials and stuff, or when I hear about people who get, like, these really expensive surgeries for their dogs, like, oh, man, my dog's sick, he needs to get all of his teeth pulled, and we have to put dental implants in. It's like, that's like $10,000. No, I got a solution for this, and it'll be done in an afternoon and a shovel, so, no need for the surgery, all right? We don't need that. So anyway, I have this group of friends, and like I said, I don't really fit in. But sometimes, we can find common ground. We all had normal childhoods. We all did things that are very normal to where we grew up. Like I said, they go to Lake Powell and they launch their boat at Waweep. I would go to the back pond and launch my John boat and watch and just go to set fire to floating palm fronds and things like this. They would go run through the cul-de-sac in the backyards and hop the fences. Well, I'm running through the woods of Central Florida barefoot, hopping over alligators and things. Maybe they would go hike to see some Utah wildlife, some native wildlife. There's tarantulas in Utah. I didn't know that until a couple years ago. It's not good. We should get rid of those. But anyway, maybe they'd go hike to see some Utah wildlife. My brother and I, though, this is what we did. This is the equivalent. We were sitting on the school bus one time, and we lived in a gated community on dirt roads. Where if you've ever been to Florida, you know that there's like deep ditches on the sides of the roads, and they're always full of water. So we looked out the window of our school bus, and I said, hey, look at this. There's an alligator right here. So he said, oh, cool. So we knew exactly what we had to do. We're the first stop. We get off the school bus. We run home around the front pond, get to the house, and we obtain the bag of leftover turkey from Thanksgiving. And so we went right back out to the gate, shimmied through the gate, and then we fed this alligator every bit of turkey that we had in our bag of turkey. And my mom probably loved that. What she really loved was when it followed us home. It didn't follow us home right away. It was a pretty good spy. It waited until nightfall. But we woke up the next day and there's an alligator in the pond. And it wasn't a very big alligator. We're probably talking like from me to the stand away. It's like 4 or 5 feet long. It's not a huge alligator. It's big enough, though, to be worried about if you got kids. I don't, so I don't know, but my mom did. So this is the kind of normal stuff that we did. Maybe they would go hunting with their dads, go hunting elk up in the woods in the Uintas or whatever. Well, I watched my dad, shirtless, standing in the backyard, shoot this alligator right in the head and kill it, and then go in the pond to retrieve this dead alligator. So those are the kind of normal things that we did growing up. Yeah. So I guess the moral of the story is you can always find common ground with your friends, and that's all I got for y'all tonight. Thanks so much.